Hello friends, you are on a caring channel. Today, I will tell you the story of a boy named Misha Sokolov. I have been following his fate for a few years. Right after he was born, he was abandoned by his biological parents. For 5 long years, he lived in an orphanage, alone with a very rare disease called arthrogryposis. Immobility of the arms and legs. You can see on the screen now how Misha moved before. Misha was very small, couldn't sit up, moving around like a caterpillar. And when he sat in the chair, they'd tie him up with a diaper so that he wouldn't fall. One day at While Everyone Home TV show, Misha was seen by his future foster mom, Lia Sokolova, and immediately wanted to take him away, but the doctors warned, the boy won't walk, he will not be able to move his arms, and is unlikely to even sit. But despite the doctor's predictions, Misha managed to stand up and walk. Watch right now this unbelievable story of a boy named Misha and his heroic mom, Lia. Subscribe to my channel, give me a like, and feel free to leave your comments. This inspiring story is another confirmation that the impossible is possible.
Let me introduce you while everyone's home.
This is Misha. Misha, let's say hello to everyone. Say hello.
Let's go to him.
Wake him up and see what happens.
You walk fast, Misha, very fast.
Mom, let's speed up again.
Misha, you've had a lot of surgeries. How many in total do you remember?
About 13.
13 surgeries. On your arms, on your legs?
Yes.
And endured a lot of pain. What is pain to you? How would you explain it in your own words? How do you deal with it? Because you probably realize before every surgery that it's going to hurt again after the surgery, right? Pain is just a period of time.
Which is not forever. It won't stay for life, and that needs to be understood. And, if you're having some kind of surgery in your life, you should be happy if it's gonna help you in any way in your life. And even if she doesn't help, you realize you're going to stay alive. Life is beautiful.
He has a tremendous will to live. And just a great love of life. He's an optimist. The kid's very independent. Strives for independence. Though he often still needs help, he prefers to do on his own. I'll do it myself, hold on. I'll do it myself.
Lia, do you remember the day you first saw Misha? What did he look like? Where did you see him?
I was working part-time in trauma at the pediatrician's office back then as a midwife, but also worked part-time in pediatric trauma. I came in for my evening shift from 4 p.m. until morning. I came in the first room, and there was an iron bed in the corner of the room with iron bars. And there was Mishka lying there. On the bedside table next to him, there was a cold hospital porridge, a spoon. Tea was untouched. There were moms around with their babies, and he was alone. I remember I went over and I said to the moms, "Where's the mom?" You could see that the baby was hungry.
Yes.
You could see the pillow was wet because of the fever. Apparently it was like this. I opened the blanket. Everything should have been cleaned and changed a long time ago. And one mom said, they bring them from the orphanage. They leave them here. They do surgeries to children. I went up to him. I said, "What's your name?" I just bent over him, and he started crying. I wanted to hold him like you usually take a baby right away to hold him and swing. I put my arms around him, but he cried even louder. Then I told him, "Are you hungry?" Like a little animal. He was tiny. I picked him up from the orphanage when he was 4.5 at that time and weighed about 7 kilos. His head was like that, those eyes like that, these little hands, and some kind of plaster case that he was put in after the surgery, and the scared eyes. I said, "Are you hungry?" But there was no smile, just like this. He looked like some kind of spoiled hedgehog. I said, "Do you want porridge?" I could see myself. There was nothing to give. He said no. I said, "Wait." I remember when I jumped, there was a fence between the hospital and the house. There were some shops on the ground floor. I still remember buying him applesauce, apple juice, and some kind of candy, and I fed him that applesauce. He ate it like that, and until now it's his favorite meal. Applesauce, not pears or anything. Only the applesauce. And I could see he was cheerful. I put my hands on him. This time he went into my arms. I took him to the sanitary room, of course. I cleaned him up, changed his clothes, and got so attached.
Misha, let's remember your childhood.
Okay.
What do you remember from your childhood?
When's the second one? When, like, the second time my mom came to my room and brought me some kind of toy tablet that I played with for a long time. Then she brought me, it is my favorite meal until now, I mean the applesauce.
And you don't remember here? Well, still, you know, a stranger comes to you, offers you something. That's how much you have. Well, if you remember that, of course. Trust in her right away. Or were you still so, like, hesitant?
I had trust in my mom right away.
Can you tell me and the hedgehog about your favorite teacher? What's her name?
Lida,
If Lida came in sad, what do you usually do to make her feel better?
well, she's never sad.
She is never sad? She's always in a good mood.
Yes,
So tell me, please, do you ever get sad?
It must be more than just love. I can't even understand it. I had something inside of me that it was probably due to when my blood son Misha had 4 surgeries when he was 3 years old. After the second one, the doctor came out and said he couldn't take it. He'd be dead by morning. I remember praying and saying, "Lord, please don't take my son away. I'll do whatever you send me, no matter how you challenge me. Just don't take him away." When I looked at Misha, I guess it wasn't love at first sight. He looked just like my Misha before. He had the same fair hair, the same broad forehead. So I remembered my Misha in a second. And I had the only thought I remember well, and I'll always remember it. That for Misha, it was easier because I was with him. I could see this wet baby, scared with this cold porridge, and all these things were in my head. I didn't think about love at the time. I just wanted to feed him. I just wanted to change his clothes. And then it started. I need to protect him. And then I realized that nobody wanted him. And for some reason, I already needed him.
Lia, what was the forecast of the doctors? When you took Misha, what did they say?
They said that this disease was incurable, especially in Misha's case. He had the most severe stage of arthrogryposis, advanced stage, because he was 4.5 years at that point. While any corrections are made in 3 months after birth, his toes and fingers were already badly distorted on his hands. So arthrogryposis is a lesion in all the joints. It's a lesion of joints. But it happens in some babies, mostly in the hands. It happens in one leg somewhere, so it's joints. But the worst and most insidious thing about this disease is atrophy of muscles. And Misha had a complete atrophy of his legs and hands. I'll tell you another thing. When I picked him up from the orphanage, I went into the group home, and he was sitting in a chair with a diaper tied up. Because I have a picture of him somewhere. Because he had no control over his body. Mishka could lie down only. Even in the orphanage, he was mostly in a crib where the babies lay.
little hedgehog.
4 legs.
Going through the forest, singing a song.
So this is how you always do it.
Yeah, I have to kick the stroller because I don't have the strength anymore. Just to lift it, and everything is on the weight. Well, he's about, you see, how many?
Kilograms?
You mean how much I weigh?
38. No, let's do it like that. That's how it is when you sit down.
Mom, I can move over a little bit like this.
That's it. That's it. I'm not strong enough. I can crawl away. I remember taking him home. He was still scared. He was riding with me and he said, "Where are you taking me?" I said, "Home." "You're gonna have a home now." He says, "What are you going to do with me there? Misha is a good talker. What are you going to do with me?" I said, "I will not hurt you." He says, "Are you sure there is nothing to hurt me there?" He had these surgeries. If he was taken from the orphanage, he'd have to go to the hospital for surgery. All this pain, he'd never seen a cat. He had no idea what it was. When he saw a cat, he was scared. I remember bringing him home too. The kids surrounded him. He was like this, like a little animal. I made him pancakes then, with condensed milk. I say, "Here," he says, "I'm not eating that." Like that to me. I said, "Mishka, try some." And I put it in his mouth. And he said, "Condensed milk." And he said, "I'd like some more." In these moments, I think it will be 10 years in April since I took Mishka. And I have these little moments in my memory. He also said to me, "Then you should put it away somewhere or these kids will eat it." So yeah, he had this fear that something would be taken away and eaten, such as this.
And the moment when you got home, do you remember it or don't?
I remember.
When you were greeted by your brothers and sisters?
I remember. Well, first of all, when I was approached by my brothers and sisters, I cried at first because, well, strangers to me, new people for me.
Yeah, I get
Because
it.
it was with my mom, it was the second time I met like that. The first time I saw my brothers and sisters, of course I cried, but then I got used to them. They always brought me food, something to eat, something to drink. Because I was skinny then.
You were skinny and small, weren't you? Tell me, did you have good relationships with them right away? Didn't they have any jealousy towards you? Because some unfamiliar boy came up that mom's always taking care of.
No.
So it never happened at all? Misha, you're very lucky. You have 4 of them, right? 4?
2 brothers, 2 sisters.
Lia, is there any information about the parents?
It was a very interesting story, it's known. Misha, well, as far as I know, Misha was given all the papers from the orphanage, where he was left right in the maternity hospital. For 26 days he was in the maternity hospital, and the guardianship bodies tried to assure. I just realized from the documents that there were refusals. They tried to persuade relatives. They are quite normal grandparents, uncles and aunts. It's not just a young mom who gave birth. The mom is normal. They are absolutely wealthy. We're totally normal. The first time I took Mishka to Germany. We went to Germany with the hope that they'd help him with his feet. So they fixed Misha's feet. Because his feet were like, he didn't have them at all. He even had skin grafts to straighten them out. And at that time, I had an account in social media. So to my account, I didn't have a profile picture. But a woman sent a message to me. She says, "How's my boy?" I thought it was some nanny from the orphanage. At the orphanage, they all loved Misha. They treated him very well. It's just understandable, 30 kids and 1 nanny for all 30. You're welcome to come and visit us.
Of course.
Especially with such a difficult child. I thought, oh, it must be some nanny. I started to describe in details. I told her everything, how the surgery was done. I sent all the pictures. Such an idiot, she told me after that. I remember sometimes, and I'm so sorry that it all happened like that. But she says, I wish I could come. To you. I said, what for? She said, to apologize to Misha. And that's when it suddenly hit me.
It's mom, isn't it?
Uh-huh. And she wrote me these words. I'm Misha's mom. And when I read those words, I'm Misha's mom, I felt like a tiger protecting my kid. Misha has a mom. That's me. Misha has brothers and sisters. He's not alone. He's not alone. Like I found him in the hospital one day in a dried diaper and hungry with cold food on his nightstand. I say he has a loving family.
That's it.
Time passes. She stopped writing. After some time, I was so silly, I gave her my WhatsApp number. I've posted in social media all the possible information. So after some time, I received a message from her in WhatsApp. And so she wrote to me. You know, she says, I just had a difficult situation. Well, Misha has an older brother. Misha was born from a man who I had no future with, so she just for
I
some
see some
reason
of her
told me all
personal.
this stuff. I didn't realize she was sneaking around to what she wanted. I said, well, what do you want now? When Misha is 18 years old, he'll make his own decisions, whether he needs to see you or he doesn't. And then she said, no, you see, the problem is that I want to go abroad. She doesn't pay alimony. Misha should get some child support to his personal account. There is a child's account which is considered his safety cushion until the age of 18. That's where the child support from the biological mother was supposed to be received. And the father, I guess. And she says to me, you know, they won't let me out of the country to Turkey or wherever she was supposed to go. Just because I have child support debts, would you be so kind to confirm to me that you don't have any claims against me or to the guardianship authorities or whatever? So then, and she says to me, you probably got maternity money for Misha, didn't you? I said, no. I didn't get anything. All my children are grown up. We came here from another country, you know. I had to explain myself. I said, no, 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 no. And then I thought, what am I supposed to say to her? I just texted her. You don't text me anymore. She texted me again, but I just blocked her. And that's it. That was the story. Then Mishka, I guess he was in the 1st grade and he was there one day and out of the blue he said, Mom, why didn't you pick me up from the orphanage for a long time? I said, Misha, listen. There's a truth I want to tell you. I don't know if you'll understand it at your age, but I didn't give birth to you. I found you, I said, you know, over there in the hospital. And I told him the whole story. I said, the woman who gave birth to you, she left you. And that's it. And that's why you were in the orphanage. And he lowered his eyes and sat there in silence and said, why? Is that because I was so bad and ugly? That she didn't take me and left me like that? I thought, what should I say to him? I'm like, no, Mishka, she was just lazy. She didn't want to wash you or carry you to the sink or do any other things. Well, when he was a little kid, I used to wash him in the sink. So I guess she was just a lazy woman. And then, you know, we had this case in Israel. Well, Mishka is such a star. When all the surgeries were done, they interviewed him. He was taking the first steps with a disease considered incurable all over the world. And the doctor just took the risk to do the surgery. And Misha took the first steps. So yeah, that was the situation, that they interviewed Misha. For a local Israeli radio station, a Russian-speaking radio station. So the reporter asks him a question. She was aware that Misha had known the story of his life and everything. And she says to him, Misha, please tell me, you're going to grow up and there will be a situation like this. Imagine you'll meet your biological mom who gave birth to you. What would you say to her? I remember well that my heart stopped for those minutes. I was in such shock. And Mishka didn't hesitate for a minute. He was like he's always, you know, taking oratorical pose and said, I'll tell her, do you see? I'm walking. And that's it. Only I can't tell you how he said that. He said it with such pride that here I am, I'm good. I'm handsome. You were wrong.
And that's it. When Misha was born, only God was happy because the little boy couldn't have known at that time that his mom wasn't around. He's left and he's alone and cold and scared. Noon's grandson or son, wrapped in a diaper with a label, sent Mishutka to an ordinary orphanage, diagnosed immobility. He's a disabled child. But the Almighty is by his side. He says to Misha, be strong, little one, be strong. You are my child. Only I can be your heavenly Father.
Please tell me what you're wearing. What is this?
These are special sandals that hold the foot too. So that means he needs to stay in them as much as possible. That is when he has the maximum of height. His growth will be easier then, but currently he is actively growing. And due to the fact that he's growing up, he's just crooked all over. So now it's important to keep his feet even. flat soles so that he's, there it is, that big orthosis right there, so that he can walk around in it, to work his muscles.
Now, could you tell me what kind of surgeries did Misha have?
Well, Misha had well, to start with the first surgeries, the first one was on the foot. Misha's feet were actually turned, you could certainly say, backwards. And they were in the bent condition like this. I guess from birth to age 3, they were just there on their own. And when he had a foot resurfacing in Germany so that he could at least put on shoes, doctors refused then. In Germany, they also refused.
Why is that?
Well, they said,
Everything
we've done
possible has been
everything we
done?
can. We can't do anything else. It's an insidious disease. And he already had a big, stage of complications.
These legs.
They're so smooth now. They were like this. He just couldn't sit up straight like that. He would flip over. That's when we went to Israel too. I found it on the internet. A hospital. The first time we were rejected in Israel too. And we were on our way back home. And then we drove up to the Western Wall. I say, Misha, let's just go to the Western Wall. And thank God that we were in Israel, that we asked for everything we could do. I thought I'll make a video so that he would have it for the memory in his life. And miraculously, we're coming back to where we were staying. We have a flight in a few hours. We get a call from this hospital which rejected. And they say, you've got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A professor arrives. He's Israeli, but he's been in America. He's ready to see you again and examine the boy. I remember we've arrived, it was before COVID. He examined Misha's arms and said, okay, we'll do the right hand. It was about the hand from here to here.
And what was his wrist like before that?
His fingers on the hand were absolutely insensitive. They didn't move. Well, they were just hanging like this. Now all the fingers are moving. They're smooth. They were shattered in different sides. Now his hands are functioning. He draws, he controls the tablet, he runs his own Telegram channel. He writes himself, he makes comic books, he draws himself. He's also a great Lego collector. He draws on paper. Yeah, on paper we had such a good thing. He started writing with a ballpoint pen. It's just a lot of pressure. He couldn't use a felt tip pen before. Well, he could barely move it. And now he started writing with pressure.
Pain is such a passage of time for me that after a while, it doesn't matter whether it is small or big, it will pass anyway, and I realize that, and I'm just waiting for it to be over, and that's it.
But tell me, does it ever happen that you, let's say, wake up at night and you feel the pain in your legs?
Sure.
How do you deal with that?
Well, in those cases where the pain in my feet is too strong, I ask my mom to take these things off for about 10 minutes or so that my feet can rest. And then, if it's just a regular pain, then I just try to be patient and lie down.
And while we were waiting for the conclusion, while we were there, it was probably days, like a week on average. They were closing the borders. We're in Israel. Are you staying there? They say to us, move out of this one. They tell us, move out of this one, where you live. What's the name of hotel? So, where to? They say, fly away. Outbound flights to Russia are available. I said, Mishka, we're not going to fly away. Because if we leave, that's it. We have nowhere to... There are no chances for us at all. I say we're staying, Mishka. I had 200 in my pocket. I didn't have a ruble more than that. We've been there for the last few days. I remember this day. I'll probably remember it till 1:22. I remember walking out of that hotel. Stroller, on the stroller. Backpack hanging down. Misha, $200 in my pocket. I don't know where to go. And it's chaos out there. In Israel, it was very strict. Everything was locked up. Even such kind of iron things. And I'm walking down the street and it's empty. I said, Mishka, I don't know where we'll spend the night, but if anything happens, we'll go to the beach. And then I don't know what we'll do. But I said, I will find a way. Don't be afraid. I'll definitely get some idea. But we're not going to fly away. I said, I have an idea. I worked with a woman in a maternity hospital in Krasnoyarsk. She traveled to Israel for a while and even worked there for years. Then she came back to Russia again, and I had her phone number. She's a midwife. And I call her and I say, listen, I know you've been to Israel. You've been there for more than 1 year. 100% you have some acquaintances. I'm really asking you, give me someone to take me and my bear in. I said, you want it? Say it. I'll do any job. Just get them to let us in. She calls me back. She says, you know, I only have the phone number of one employer. He hires people for all kinds of unofficial work and gives them some lodgings. I'm like, oh, what a blessing. I said, give us contact of that employer. I called the employer. She said he speaks Russian, and I explained to him, you know, I'm going to wash everything and I need to be in Israel. I don't remember what I said. And at the end I said, well, I have also a child with me there. He's in a wheelchair. And I said, but there is no problem about that. I said, well, anyway. He says, what? And then he said, you what? I said, I really need it. I'm just asking, please help us. If we fly away, the child will be left with no arms and no legs. It's his last hope. I don't remember how I talked him into it. Anyway, he came over. Looking at us, he says, I have a little basement. I can let you guys in there. You'll only wash the staircases of the 16-story buildings there. It is 1,500 shekels and additionally the payment for this place. He says, I'm so your child. I'm worried. I said, he's so good. While I do washing, he can sit. I said, right, Misha? He says, yes. They let me into this basement. But there was no toilet, no water, nothing. I had to go to the neighboring one. I've got pictures somewhere. I'll show you where I am. I found a baby bathtub on the street. I used it to wash Bear. I was carrying buckets of water. Here. And when I went to wash up, I thought if he woke up, you know, for eating, I used to put these bottles in. I'd make liquid semolina and a tube. He can't eat on his own. And he's lying like that. If he woke up, he would drink directly from the bottle. And he texted me from his tablet. Mom, I'm awake, he texted. He's like this, and he used to write with this spot right here. So he could write one word. Now it's stylus and pen, and that's it. We lived like that for 8 months. I was the only one cleaning those stairs. I remember my sneakers were ripped. It was so cold. It was February, and we didn't have a blanket, nothing. One thing they gave us, and of course there was no money. What I earned, we were paying rent and some food. And we covered ourselves with my raincoat. As I remember now, we slept together. They actually gave us 2 cots, but that one was wooden and broken. And we'd lie together under my cape, just like this, hands. We agreed to one hand only because from our perspective it had more sense. Nerves were transplanted into each finger. Oh, that was, there were these huge iron spokes. It was a lot of pain. We didn't sleep together for a month, even a single night, because I held his hand. So the slightest move, it was a lot of pain. There was a complication because of the atrophied skin here. The elbow was done, the skin tightened, and the tendon separated. Had another major surgery. It was a complication and had major surgery. Misha was in intensive care, but everything was done. This hand, I mean, the second arm was also done, the elbow here. All his arms are me. I hold him, and the walkers also, that we're waiting for. That will hold the body and under the arms. Rare walkers, that we've never had anywhere else. They'll just hold it, all the way up. And it will develop his legs. I mean, you have to remember to use your hands too. And the legs. We developed this part of his legs after the surgery. With legs. It was a very difficult story. Nobody, in fact, wanted to do it. And only one doctor in Israel decided and said, I'll do it. But there are risks. The risks are such that 50-50. We took a risk. We said that I was so sure he was going to make it. Here, Mishka had surgery on one of his legs at the beginning. Then the second leg was operated on. And on day 3, day 4, Mishka stood up for the first time in his life on his feet. I have a video on Israeli channels because it's a very rare disease. They wouldn't operate on him, but the doctor took a chance and it was a miracle. You can see him walking around. It's the first time he got upright. So until he was 9 years old, Misha did not stand up. when Mishka was 9 years old. Now he'll be 13 in October. At the age of 9, he stood on his own feet and stamped his steps. Then there was the rehabilitation. And this part from here to here. It is now very...
Masha, I'm fine.
Do you believe in God?
Yes,
Do you go to him often, Misha?
very often, every morning.
What do you ask God about, Misha?
First of all, that brothers, moms, sisters were happy. Secondly, that I can already, little by little, so that I can at least learn to walk in a normal way. And the second, of course, and the second, also in the same place. I pray for that's to help us with my mom. It's in cases where my mom already asked for it. I'm getting in the habit that I need to pray every morning.
What is the meaning of your life? Misha, what do you think? That's a difficult question. It's probably more for adults. I mean, what do you think? What is the meaning of a person's life?
What is the meaning of a person's life? The meaning of human life is to realize what you've done wrong and to realize it in the future. To realize that you're not that perfect, but to realize that you're not worthless. That is not to think of yourself as nothing and perfect.
Realize that.
Realize
Who you are, right? Strong words. What grade are you in?
in the fourth.
What kind of school is this?
What is a school?
What is this iSchool?
No one knows what an iSchool is. A school learning technologies. So it's an individualized school for kids who can't do a lot of things, who can't walk, who may have problems with speech. That's where everything is adapted so that even a person who can't speak, he can just point to the alphabet. They'll give him a special board. He can just point his finger at one letter, and he can make up words like that. And there's a special new function, even what you can see with your eyes, just in your thoughts. And then it's all printed. If there's a...
Oh, really?
If you turn in on right away.
I see. This is how interesting. Lia, you have a lot of different adaptations here. All right, come on, tell me about it. Demonstrate them. So these are splints?
The splints that Mishka lives in now. I mean, so that the legs...
The right shape so they'll align, and day and night, and day and night, and day and night. What does a family give to a child?
First of all, after all, gives the child something. Some kind of purpose in life.
Foundation. That's the kind of foundation it's laying, isn't
Yes.
it?
First of all, it gives life purpose and meaning to life in general. The second, however, to realize that you need to value your life and love those around you.
But why still? What do you need Mom for? And Dad? Why do you need brothers and sisters?
Because they're the ones who give you that childhood about which not every child can even dream of.
Well, do you think there should be orphanages in Russia at all? Or is it something should be done so they don't exist?
First of all, if people become very kind, And it wouldn't even make sense to build those houses, because then there will be no point in sending a child somewhere.
Misha, tell me, do you like to walk? Shall we go for a walk?
Yes.
Are we going?
This one?
Okay, shall we go then? Let's go for a walk. Now we're going to show you how Lia and Misha move.
Yes.
In the entryway, how accessible our environment is. Lia, available? Inaccessible?
Not at all.
Inaccessible, huh?
Mishachka, come on.
We still don't have anything, do we? Well, we have something, but
There's something, but we kind of take it to heart that it's available to us. Available. But it's available in the morning when my back's out of alignment. This is accessible already, you understand. So now I'm going to show you how I dress Misha. Well, I put it on the stroller right away because it's going to be even harder with clothes on. Okay, with your knee like this because it's the other way around. And that's how I tense up and it makes me feel a little better. Misha weighs 38 kilograms. Here. Okay, the shoes. This is the easy part of the process.
The hardest one is the jacket.
Yeah, now of course. Misha can't dress himself, of course. Here I put my finger. That's it. You have to know how to put your foot down properly. All of it? Your finger's not sitting right. So. Okay, here's the jacket. Anyway, you have to know how to put it on. That's it. The hands don't go up. Because there's a problem here that can't be fixed. I mean, to raise his arms above his head is a problem for Misha, yes. Like this. And now it's like this. And now like this. And that's it. Well, we'll be right there. We're going to try to move out. That's going to be the hardest part. Thank God for this stroller. Because the wheelchair that you push with your hand, it can be very hard to carry Misha in his clothes. He's grown up. That's it.
going outside?
Yeah, all right, let's turn it on. Off the brakes. Everything. Well, I'll be careful. Yeah, there he is. See how nice he rides. He's very good. That he has developed a good handle on his right hand. All right, come on, I'm already
Mom.
off. Come on, I'm watching. No, you're crashing, Mish. A little bit forward.
I'm cutting in.
Come on.
Now you have to accelerate.
Otherwise you'll... Come on.
Okay, now we have to squeeze in there somehow.
Wait, the leg.
No, why? It's okay.
Come on, I'll watch your back.
Lia, you have an incredible connection with Misha. Has it been since day one? Has there always been such an understanding?
I think so.
Or is it upbringing, Lia?
No. I guess I'm starting to realize lately that it's like via Misha in reverse. I'm being raised. Why? Because from the first day we met, it's like I felt like I was written in the stars. Just because I took Misha, without expecting it of myself. It's also like it was already in the stars. Because, well, it's just the way things are. And I don't even know, but me and Misha, we're in great harmony. There are even moments where sometimes, you know, like he's making fun of his classmates, kind of. And when it happens, I don't have to teach him, sitting and trying to learn him some basic morals. I start to feel bad for him. I mean, I always feel like that I have to send him into adulthood, more or less protected. I always say to him, Mishenka, you have to be very kind. People should reach out to you and feel warmth from you. And kindness, because that's the only way you'll be saved and live. And a lot of people should just warm up to you. In the other case, I say, You know you're going to have a very painful and difficult life, and I don't want to. You have to understand that it's my job to keep you from any pain that might come along in your life.
Lia, how do you raise a kid like that? Especially a child like this. A child with a disability, so that they don't feel like there's some kind of, deprived, right? I mean, so that he feels like a full-fledged person, a full-fledged member of this society. It's something you have to do all the time. You have to work with it all the time.
I think to an adult, the most important thing, an adult can do that. To come up with something that will to be needed. Always feel that support, don't you? Praise, protect, and most importantly, explain to him. Misha, he understands everything from the tongue. You don't need to raise tone on him or anything. You need to sit him down and talk to him quietly and look into his eyes. He will understand everything.
It seems to me that really your whole life is a series of some interesting meetings through which miracles happen in Misha's life.
It's amazing. I'm getting used to miracles a little bit. Yeah, because they're just at every turn, in every little thing. Even now we've arrived in the promised land. Without knowing a single person who took us in, we've been living in some basement for 8 months. There are people who give us food. Suddenly, by chance, someone gives me the phone number of volunteers who don't just bring us food. They take us to the doctor who promised us to fix a hand. They talk to the doctor and tell him about us. And those 8 months, there you go, well, you should have seen us. There they are, the doctor's crying. The doctor was crying. Cut the bill in half, as for an Israeli citizen. And then there are situations like this, that I'm just sitting here. Well, it's really hard for me on my own. I have nowhere to go for help. And I've always relied only on my own strength, but now I hope for the miracle that is always with us. I'm sitting here, and somehow it just comes to my head like some kind of a clue. Reach out, ask for help. Misha will never be denied by God. It's really a big miracle.
I don't know how many situations Misha has had. And people came into Misha's life by a big miracle. Thanks to exactly, probably the help of the Almighty through the hands of these people, Misha is walking now. Misha is writing now because to do all this, I couldn't do it alone, of course. I couldn't have done it. It's out of the question, Misha. What does a miracle in life mean to you?
First and foremost, it's a miracle to me that I got into a family, that I have a mom, brothers and sisters.
That's the most important thing. What's your dream in life?
Probably walk.
Give me your most cherished dream, come on.
Probably to walk
So,
without fixtures.
Misha, what do you want to be in the future? Tell me about it.
Cook.
What's your favorite dish?
Pizza.
Pizza. Is there anything you've made before? Can you cook for yourself or can't you?
I haven't cooked anything yet, but I watch a lot of cooking channels.
Oh, that's good, by the way. I know you have your own channel. What do you want to communicate to your subscribers? To your viewers, what's the most important message?
I guess I want to convey that everything in your world should be beautiful and that you should enjoy life while you can, while there's still time. Misha, come on. The greatest happiness of your life?
The fact that I came into a family. Please tell me what kind of future you see. For him? For Misha?
Well, I think that I see him as a man doing good things for people, I think. God gave him that gift. He's like a philosopher at his core. Yeah, he can calm down. He can talk. He can make a good impression of himself from people. I see him as more of a teacher, I guess. When he was little, he dreamed of being a cook. I keep saying, what kind of idea is this? He's like, cook, cook. And at some point, and more often, he says to me, Mom, I want to be a teacher. I like it, he says, but I want to teach kids. I want to teach kids who are shy or afraid of something. That's his dream, and I see him as a great teacher, because he's not just going to give some knowledge. He knows how to understand, he knows how to support, he knows how to persuade somehow and where they play. I mean, the kids, I always see a lot of kids around Misha. He's loved. He's beloved at school. Kids are always giving him things. They're trying... I mean, when he moves and walks, I think it's a teacher, mentor. Well, maybe something in this direction.
Misha, please tell me, how is your mom raising you?
Oh, well, my mom... Sometimes she just teaches me. She tells me, for example, if I've done something wrong, if I've said something wrong. I didn't want to do something, let's say. And she talks to me about it. She says that it's better not to say something, to say something else. Or if I'm lazy, then I need to achieve my goal in the end, because when I manage to do that, my life will be even better.
She says absolutely right thing. Tell me, Misha, does your mom often feel sorry for you?
Well, yeah. Well, not always, but she's always there for me. If I'm having trouble with something.
Do you often feel sorry for yourself? You say, here, I have this pain there, I have this feeling sorry for yourself. Is not present? No? You don't feel sorry for yourself?
No, not unless it's rare, rarely.
You know, the obstacle course is Misha's reality. It's his life. But even though he's small, he's not afraid of these obstacles. He's very strong and very brave. And most importantly, he has his mom, Mama Lia, who is always by his side.
If you like this movie, please like and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments. And for sure, be always as indifferent as I am, and my mom too.